In today's video, we're going to talk about the signs of a toxic household. And it took me a while to really work on this video because, for the most part, I will be speaking from experience. I believe that the first reason why, or the first sign of a toxic household, is favoritism. And favoritism is something that keeps family broken. And this is why 30, 40, 50 years can go on and a family is still bickering, is still hurt, is based off of favoritism. Favoritism is at the core of a toxic environment or family dynamic. And sometimes it's often looked over, especially because you have grandparents who did it. You have people way before your generation that favored a particular child or a particular family member, and that was normalized. But favoritism is what keeps families broken. A sign that there's favoritism within your household is that if you are the chosen one, you are oftentimes called out for anything. You can make a mistake and you will have a parent that's yelling at you about making that mistake. And another sibling can come along and make the same mistake or a worse mistake. And a parent will have patience with that child. These are toxic signs that within your family, immediate family, there's some type of favoritism within the environment or the household. And the reason why, even as an adult, you don't really cling to your family because you were oftentimes overly corrected in certain sense. You were often blamed for things that you did not do, or whenever you was corrected, disciplined, or sometimes just flat out abused, it didn't match the the crime didn't match what you did. The time didn't match. The punishment did not match the crime. And a lot of times when you have siblings that benefit from favoritism, they will not stick up for you. They will not stand up for you and say, hey, this is unfair. So they love the favoritism they're getting within the household. And this is why they're okay with the unfair treatment because it benefits them in some kind of way. And the person who favoritism benefits, they're not gonna go against it. They're gonna continue to infiltrate it, including infiltrating it in other generations. So the generations after you will be also targeted by favoritism. So, what I mean about favoritism will be infiltrated in the next generation after you is based off if you are a scapegoat or a chosen one, your children will not be favored in the next generation. So if you don't have healthy boundaries or go against the toxic family dynamics, and I know it's very hard, you will continue to go around your family or be close knit with your family, and your children will be targeted. Your children will be unfavored in that family dynamics. So, most of the time, the golden child offspring will be favored in the next generation, especially if it's the parents that's keeping this dynamic alive. And the scapegoat or the chosen one offspring won't be favored. And this is what I've been through with my parents' family. My parents were the scapegoats of their families, and their offspring was not favored, and we were targeted. So, when you continue to want a tight connection with toxic family and you are the scapegoat or the chosen one, your offspring will be targeted. And a lot of times, favoritism is shown in families that certain type of in the immediate family, certain families or certain children can do no wrong. These are the favored ones, and the ones that are least favorite, those children or people cannot do any right in this person eyes that infiltrating the favoritism. And um the children who are favored don't get disciplined. They rarely get disciplined. Whatever this favorite child do, it doesn't get spoke up against. They feel like they just the head honcho of the house, and they will disrespect anyone who tries to come up against them or go against what's favorable for them. At first, I thought this video was going to be about multiple signs of a toxic family, but I feel like favoritism should have its own video. And I want to talk about the negative effect favoritism has on a family or a child. And when a child is not is experience um, favoritism in the family, I want to speak on the negative effects it has on the scapegoat or the chosen one who's not favored. Most of the time, kids who are not favored in their household, they grow up and have very low self-esteem. They don't believe in themselves. They feel very isolated from the family who's infiltrating this favoritism system. They feel like they can never be good enough for the parent or the siblings who's showing favoritism towards against them. And sometimes it's just devastating to experience it, and to see favoritism still being used to this day. The negative effect it has towards the child who's being favored is they have a false sense of self. They believe that they are amazing, they can do no wrong, and these are things that are very far from the truth. They will not self improve, they will not self reflect because they had a system, they grew up in a system that they could do no wrong. These people grow up to be very narcissistic, and these people are very hard to date, be around, to have children by, because they also will infiltrate that same favoritism within their own families. And in order to combat or fight against favoritism is to disassociate yourself with anyone who's infiltrating that system. Sometimes it's hard to do this because sometimes we're still have to deal with certain people who are toxic, but you don't have to be very tight knit or very close to this person. So you can basically love this person from a distance if you choose so. Or if you have the ability, just cut them off. You don't have to keep going to family cookouts or gatherings if you feel uncomfortable, if you're just going to be the butt joke of the night. I've experienced all of that as a child when my mom would bring me to my auntie's house, and we would just sit there. Me and my siblings would sit there and watch, my mom get picked on or us getting picked on. And it was very unsettling to always go to their house during holidays. My mom's siblings were the reason why around holidays I had severe anxiety because toxic people, narcissists, they use holidays to abuse their targets. And oftentimes, my mom didn't bring us around them throughout the entire year. It was only for holidays. So, mainly for holidays. And they would just wait for these moments in order to abuse us, attack us. And this video concludes that in order to protect yourself against toxic people or toxic family members that infiltrate favoritism is really disassociating yourself by any means. And you can do this gradually or you can do it all at once. It's up to you. It's up to your particular situation because every situation is different. And I just want you to know that disassociating yourself from toxic people actually help you protect yourself. And I hope you all enjoy this video. I hope you all take something from this video and I will catch you in the next one.